Welcome back to another video. We got another ring planned. This one is going to be a little bit different. I plan on trying to do some inlay into it. So let me show you what I've done. I've kind of got it all set up here to try and keep the video length to a reasonable amount. And let me show you what we're going to do. We've modified our form and I've got things kind of set up. So let's look at it. Okay, so I have the first half of our form ready and prepped. So on the ring, I want to cut into the top of this and do some inlay, a couple strips of inlay of probably turquoise. So I wanted my ring to be a little bit thicker than it was. So I just simply super glued a little bit of silver on top of it to give myself a little bit of extra thickness, to give me somewhere to go with the carving that I plan on doing. It's not a perfect fit, but that's okay. It's going to file off very simply. So what I want to do is look and see right where the window is on my form here. I'm going to go, I want to make sure that's lined up. I'm going to go in halfway roughly. About there. And I'm going to just make sure I get that clay packed around there clean. This one right here is just about right to press that down a little bit. And we'll put this half on. Like it's not fitting like it should. Okay, put that one on. Oh, wait. I'm hurrying a little bit quick here. We want to coat this to make sure that our two halves don't stick together too much. We want a clean separation on them. Just makes things a little bit simpler. Okay, that'll work. Now we can put this piece on. I start out by kind of packing that in and around the ring, just to make sure I get a good fit. Just fill her up. Just about had the perfect amount there. That should be good. Hammer away, clear off our spot, clean off the top here. Okay. I don't know why, but it always seems to, where's my, there. So because it stayed on this side, we're going to go ahead and do the pour spout on this side first. Leave the ring in place so I deform the cast as little as possible. I have not had any luck on getting this stuff to pour with a smaller sprue, so I'm going to do what it takes to get it to the bottom of the form. This is take 4 on this ring. It just will not pour. Actually, I hadn't even added that piece to the top yet, but it simply does not want to pour clean. I had 2 fail up in the top up here and 2 that just didn't give me a good band at the bottom. So you can pull that loose clay out, kind of press it back in there as best we can with our finger to make sure there's nothing loose that's going to fall into our form. And even pack that down with the brush. Brush it out. Okay, there's one half of it done. I'm going to flip this over to put it back in this side. Got a little bit of pull out right there, but oh shoot. It's right where I want the form to be deeper anyway. So you can see that gives me about that much room to work with in the carving. It's not perfect, but it is what it is. Okay, now we'll do this side. This side we want our sprue funnel, pour funnel. We're gonna cut there, cut there. Oops. Keeps jumping out on me. But it might be okay. It might be far enough now that we don't need it. I don't want any of that loose clay to end up inside my cast. Okay. Now we want air holes. I like to use this one. There we go. So I'm going to punch some air holes here. I want that back in there. I'm going to go to either side of my little glued on plate. These two right here are the two most critical ones. I definitely want air flowing out the bottom just so nothing slows the silver as it rushes in. These ones right here are less important. Send away for a priceless gift, one not subtle, one not on the list. Send away for a perfect world, one not simply so absurd. Whatever happened to the young man's heart? Alright, let's see if we can pull that out now without messing things up. Okay, clean release there. I want to make absolutely sure that I don't have anything in the way of this air flowing out, so I'm going to take another swipe at that. Take another swipe at this. I don't mind a little bit. That's easy to clip off at the top. Easy to clean up later, but definitely don't want anything to slow my silver down as it goes in. Okay. So I'm going to line these two back up. Goes here into my little stand. Can you see that? Kind of, not really. bring you up here closer then. You want this straight up and down. You want that flask compressed and closed. We have plenty of silver. I wanted to make sure that the reason why it wasn't cast into the bottom was not because there wasn't enough silver in it. Trying to get where you can see the whole thing. So you've seen this stuff get hot before. I'll bring it back in right as we get close to being ready to pour, so you're not sitting around waiting. It'll be about 4 minutes. You're wondering, that's what it looks like just before it starts to get liquid. And you see it starting to run. So this piece in the center is actually 999 fine silver. The rest of it is sterling silver, so it'll be a mix. I was kind of out of scrap silver, so I've got to buy some silver. I think I'm going to buy some for my sister Mariah. She said she's got some I can buy. I definitely have enough silver this time. Probably close to double what I need, but I think maybe the lack of silver might be why it's not pouring as good. So I'll bring it back just as before I'm ready to pour. Okay, we're just about 30 seconds away from being hot enough to pour. Maybe not quite, there's still a bit of solid left in there. I'm going to make sure the whole thing is liquid. I'm not sure what that is still floating in there. Okay, I'm going to start bringing it over here to the pour. I'm going to start tilting it down and warming up the spout as I keep it hot. Slowly arranging myself so I'm ready to drop it right down the hole. And here we go. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. I feel pretty good about that. I think I saw enough of it go down the hole, and there's enough left there in the top. That looks like the best. We have silver coming out all of the air holes. That's a good sign. I think we might have got it this time. Let me clean it off and I'll show you. Okay, there it is, fresh out of the sand. Looking at it, I would say that's probably the best cast I've got so far. Obviously, I have a lot of work there to clean up that. You can see where my little additional thickness for the plate is at. I ended up with a little bit coming out of each one of the air holes, which is what you want. That's probably the best cast I've had so far, and I do not know what the difference, that's what's frustrating, between this one and the last two that failed. I did roughly the same thing, only this time okay, here's what I did different. When I thought I was ready to pour, I stopped and counted to 30 and kept the heat on it for 30 seconds longer, and then I poured. Maybe I'm just not quite hot enough. Maybe one of you can tell me. But anyway, that's ready to... That's ready to be cleaned up now. It's a good looking cast. Just going to saw that around there. I'll saw that off. Got some file work to do. And then my plan is to cut a channel out of the top of this and inlay some either turquoise or opal into it. And this one's a big ring. It's like a size 13. When it's cleaned up, it should fit on that finger right there. All right, I'll bring you back when I start on the cleanup work. Obviously, we're going to be doing... Where's my flush cutters? I got some new dikes that I think are just absolute junk. Anyway, I'll bring you back. You've seen me cut those off. All right, we've got it this far. We can move it quickly with little.
Was blocked by Senate Democrats, and that didn't reach the necessary 60-vote threshold to.
Okay, so I've made a change in plans. I thickened the ring. Let me show you. Hang on, 1 second. So I thickened this area here on the ring, but
Newsmax today.
Okay, so I made a change of plans. As you can see, I added this little plate right here to thicken the ring a little bit. My intent was I was going to file down into the face here to get my low spots to be able to set stones in them. 2 channels. I don't think I have enough thickness here to get what I want. So what I'm going to do is so these are just sitting here now, kind of sitting in the flux. I've got 3 pieces of square wire there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to solder those to the top, and then I'll file down a little bit more from there to get the thickness that I want. That'll give me the thickness on the ring to be able to set a stone that's not paper thin, and give me a little bit more bulky, not bulky, but a little beefier look to the ring. I just need to, now it doesn't matter what I do here, because as soon as I turn on the torch, this is all going to shuffle around and blow all over the place, but I'm going to start out by trying to get these faces parallel to where they're close to each other. It's easier said than done, but this is what, like, my favorite way to do this is to just kind of start out with maybe a rough idea in mind. Okay, now you can see I'm pretty close to parallel on my faces there. Start out with maybe something in mind, but just see where the creation process takes us. I don't know if this is going to work out. My thought right now is I'll just set a green piece of turquoise and a blue piece of turquoise in each one of those channels. If our flux, see, our flux didn't hold them in place. So now you got to get them back. Got to keep it hot or the flux cools. Okay, now that looks pretty close. Except for this, my gap here and my gap here aren't exactly the same. So this needs to go over just a little bit. You got to get it hot or it just sticks. It's got to be pretty close or else my stones are not going to look right. I want to make sure it's well fluxed. So I'm going to go through that whole process one more time. Bear with me. I'm hoping that the last flux stuck it down to where they won't shift this time. But I'm still not, everything moved that time. Good grief. Okay, well, I'm going to bring you back when this is ready to solder. There's no point in you watching me fumble with this. Sometimes it's just frustrating and tedious, and it can move 10 times on you. Well, that right there, actually, that's pretty close. Anyway, I'll bring you back when I solder. Okay, I think I have my guardrails. I don't have them perfect. They can shift it again. Basically, the ring has to be hot so that the flux will liquefy so that I can move it. It's so minor, but I think even the smallest little bit of being off will be obvious once the stones are set in there, so it's critical. And you usually have a pretty good eye for stuff like this. The good thing is when you have this much mass, it's actually usually an easier solder than when you're dealing with little dainty bezels and stuff. I'm going to get it just close to solder temperature from the bottom. And redirect up here to the top. Now we've moved again. I don't know which one moved, but that moved. It's subtle, it's so subtle and so close. Should be just about there. And it moved again. See that one just moving around on me? Dirty trick. Okay, should go right about now. I definitely want to pull solder to the outside out here. I see it there. I see it there. I see it down that rail. Down that rail. And I see it there. Okay. Oh, it's not straight. Okay, I think that's as close as we're going to get. I like it. So then we'll clean up all those edges, and you'll kind of see where I'm going with this here. Let me throw it in the pickle. Okay, so I think we're close enough. I'm going to grind all that excess off, the overhang, clip it, and then grind it off. And then I'm going to file the channels just slightly deeper, so I have room to set a little bit deeper stone, maybe a quarter of the distance down through the face with the edge of my file. Try and get myself a nice square channel there. Don't know if it'll work, but that's what the plan is. So I'm going to, where are my flush cutters? These things right here, nearly worthless. Glad I bought those tools, that tool. These are flush cutters, and I doubt these will cut it. These aren't designed to cut. Yeah, those cut it better. Okay, so I'm going to cut the ends off, then I'm going to grind it, file it, clean it up. Those right there will cut better. I don't want to damage my flush cutters. But I think we got pretty close to parallel faces there. Once I clean it up, I'll bring it back and we'll do some filing. Alright, I realize this isn't ideal, but I'm trying my best to kind of show you what I'm doing here. I want these angles to stay the same. So I want that angle to be there, that angle will be there. So I'm basically just filing it down to where the...
It's that time of year again. Frozen Food Month is here at Albertsons and Safeway. Stock up on cool savings from February 25th to March 24th. Whether it's frozen meals, appetizers, fruits, veggies, or ice cream, Albertsons and Safeway.
Okay, so I kind of have it set up in the vise here. I'm just kind of trying to work this channel down. I would like to have, you know, like 3/16 of an inch of a channel here to put the turquoise in. You can see where this is going. Again, I don't like to bore you. You can see now how I'm filing it, what I'm doing. I have a little $15 Harbor Freight vise here that I'm using to hold it. It was actually on sale, $14.99 yesterday, so I grabbed one. I'll come back when I have the file work done. Okay, so this is my two stones that I chose. Two pieces from Kingman, Blue Basin, and Ithaca Peak. I'm going to dop those up, cut them to fit those channels, and then we'll set them and work from there. I was trying to pick a blue and a green, but complemented each other. It was actually harder than I thought, but tell me what you think of those two. Okay, so we have our two stones set. They're just set in super glue. They're glued in right now. As soon as that dries, we'll start cutting them in place. There's our blue and green. Okay, I started shaping it, then I bring you in to kind of show you what I'm doing here. I'm just kind of working it down. Working it down to where it's close. Bring it right in to where it's almost to touch the silver with the grinding wheel. This is the hardest angle right here. Gonna have to come into it from the top. Again, if we're gonna maintain these angles, we don't end up with a lot of stone in this ring, but right down to the silver. Probably just jump onto this wheel, take it in from here for the rest of the way. That side's right up to it. That side's right up to it. Getting close. There, we're so close. kiss that silver, and then we'll be down. Right. Right there, finally touched it. So the rest of it we'll just do on the polishing wheel, and then be ready to buff it and clean it. Tell me what you think so far. Is it a win or a lose? Here we are, not polished yet, but all of the sanding and filing done. Now we'll just go back and do a careful polish on it. I might clean this up a little bit more here on the wheels while I got it here. Okay. Little zam. Gotta be real careful not to overheat this. That's why I'm just using bare hands here. This wheel blows some nice cool air just from the spinning motion. So if I just go slow and let that cool air cool the ring as I go, shouldn't take much to get it to a mirror polish. I won't make you sit and watch just because it's going to take a minute. I'm just going to have to go super slow. You get the point. When we come back, we'll have a finished ring or a mess. All right, here we go. So there it is. Unfortunately, that green turquoise has a little bit of quartz right there where it looks like there's a flaw in it, but that's just, if it was a bigger piece, it wouldn't be a big deal, but the light's not great in here. Made to go on that finger. Let me get it under the light a little bit better. All right, so there's our finished ring. I definitely like it. I think it's cool. Is it perfect? No. But it matches the idea that I had for it. I tell you what, you put a polish on something, it's impossible to keep it at a mirror as soon as you touch it with greasy hands. Well, tell me what you think about that project. A little blue and green, recessed inset, turquoise silver ring. Thanks for watching.